All right, so it's day one of our Hot Rod Week to Wicked presented by Duralast, and next to me is a 69 Chevelle. It's in really pretty good shape body-wise, chassis-wise, it's pretty solid. Christian tried to drive the car.
Yeah, I mean, it's got over 200,000 miles on it. The back sags, suspension up front feels pretty loose, doesn't stop as well. So
Yep.
I think this thing needs a makeover.
Yeah, so, you know, we're gonna throw some good parts at it, some suspension, brakes, drivetrain, you know, the usual. Make the car worthy again, get it back up on the road, and so someone can enjoy it.
Yeah. How long do we have?
Well, what's the show called?
A week to wicked.
Yeah, so we got about a week
go.
to do this car, and we're gonna get started now. Hit it, bro. Let's get a couple caps.
Yeah.
We'll take those off first, and we'll leave the brakes and calipers on the spindle. She was stubborn.
Yeah.
It's a lot of years of grime. So Duralast sent us over a puller kit. Kind of comes with everything for tie rods, and I'm gonna use this one for the pitman arm right now. See how it works.
Ooh, wow, there you go.
Nice. Strong, buddy.
The bottom one's stuck on there.
Dude. You know what you did wrong? Stop. You know what you did wrong?
Should have left the top one
Put
on.
that back on there. Yeah. Hold it in place.
Go ahead.
Let's let the car do the work.
Yeah.
Because you're already sweating, dude, and I'm not even sweating yet.
Yeah, I'm sweating.
There you go. Get that nut on there. Oh, wait, hold on. Put the nut back on that one, too. Just so it doesn't come...
Burst out.
Yeah, we don't want to kill the guy holding the light.
No.
Oh, you got it?
Got her.
All right.
Got her.
You gotta take that nut off, though, buddy. You're still fighting the system.
I've been fighting the system my whole life.
Just stay out of the system. You can fight it, stay out.
Yeah.
Got that one. All right, cool. Well, that's a complete front end with brakes. Control arms, everything in pretty good shape. The springs were pretty weak, sagged a bit. The shocks were definitely shot. They got a lot of miles on them, but overall, you know, we're gonna stick some suspension on here that's gonna make it perform a little bit better. We're gonna do maybe a little autocross. I know it's a convertible, but still have a little bit more fun than the stock stuff. You know what I'm ready to do?
What are you ready to do?
I'm ready to pull this out.
Sweet.
Oh, maybe I'd have a little slack in this thing. There we go. Oh, maybe the transmission didn't have any oil in it. We've got a lot of parts here. If you know anybody wants them, we're gonna just pull the control arms off of the body
Okay.
or off the chassis
Yeah.
and leave them connected to the rear end.
All right.
That'll make it easy. Got it. We'll put new bolts up there for sure. I found if on brake fittings, if you actually give them a little snug, tighten them, they break loose a lot easier when you go the other way. That's just me. I haven't had one fail yet. How's that coming, Christian?
It's getting there.
Okay. You have to do it all by hand, huh?
Yeah, it's up.
That's how we used to work on cars back in the day, you know?
Back when there was no air or electricity.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
Getting a workout?
There we go, yeah. This bolts is
Christian,
rusted.
excuse you. Jesus.
Oh yeah. I ate some beans last night.
You eat beans every night.
Yeah, I do. Beautiful.
Done?
Done, son.
All right, just pull them out. We'll get everything out. I already got the shocks done.
Okay, let me, Ooh, careful. Okay, there you go.
How's that?
A little better.
It's out. Got it? Okay, so we're gonna lower this down. Get the springs out. Oh, e-brake cables. Okay. Let me bring this. There we go. Okay, let's let that hang for there. Is it coming?
Yeah.
Got it. I don't know what this is gonna do, I just don't wanna get hit. Oh man, that was way heavier than I thought.
Got it?
Hold on, I gotta get rid of this gun. It's like that soothing waterfall. Okay, motor mounts and trans mounts are done.
We're good. Yep, there he is. There's that residue.
Christian, make sure
Up
the
there?
wiring's all pulled off.
Yeah, I gotta do that.
Because we're gonna reuse it, so we don't want to damage any of that.
I'm just
Yeah, starter and all that, and the sensors.
double checking everything
Okay.
else.
Want to take the hood off first, Jay?
So I made sure I marked the hood underneath, just so we have some reference points when we put the hood back on, make life a lot easier. Ready?
Yes, sir.
There's one.
Ain't gonna happen. Okay, here we go, fellas. Let's see.
Okay, come out. All the way.
All right, let me go get a pallet.
Okay. All right.
We leaking, huh?
How to get my cardio in?
Yeah.
Go up some. Keep going. Okay.
We have two of these right here. Saw that? Magic.
Dude, look, he's going bald right down the center of his head.
That's my split.
What do you call it?
My split.
You call it a split.
Disappointed.
All right, so I'm just disassembling the front spindle, taking the brakes off. We're gonna use just the spindle itself for the Willwood brakes and then the QA1 Stage 3 kit. Stage 3 kit is gonna give the car a coilover on each corner, which dramatically change the performance of the car in the ride. So you can actually adjust ride height and you can adjust it for performance, say if you're going to an autocross day or just drive down the street. All that's gonna do is pull that off. Oh no, cool. That does come off.
I was like trying to look cool and trying to take it off nice. Yeah, right. Okay, let's go over here.
We're gonna put these two sleeves in the bearings. This makes life a lot easier when you want to go loosen or tighten up the spring rate in your spring. Make sure your bushing's on there. And now we can go back together. Okay. Now we'll take some of that tension out of there by turning those up. Make sure you always put your adjusters in a comfortable area so you can adjust rebound and compression. This is the spindle that we cleaned up. Hope I don't knock the car off the lip. I've only done that once.
Control arm, bolt over here. Jay, did you reuse the new? Did you get new bolts for the top, or did you use the old one?
Right there.
Right. So here we have our LS3 that's going in our Chevelle and was supplied by Gandrud. And we're about to install our Holley mid-mount accessory drive kit. So we're about to get started.
That balancer is gonna work?
I haven't checked yet.
Come on, dude. You can check from here.
Oh, no way it's not.
Usually it's easier to do this when you bolt the pump on the motor.
Yeah. don't know why I'm doing it like this.
I don't either, but keep going.
I guess I'm following instructions. No?
Not even close.
Got really hard.
One, you put it on backwards. How are you gonna pull that off when the polar's on the other side? You'll never get that off.
No way, no way.
Kids, dude, they follow the instructions so closely. They You might as well just crank it, dude.
Go back. I think this thing might be. Go ahead.
Hold it. Get something in there. It's coming out.
Yeah.
It's coming off. Yes.
God.
Just clean it up a little bit.
All right, so we're gonna start getting the strange axle ready for the rear brake kit. We gotta get this axle out of here first. So once we've got the backing plate mocked up onto the bolts on the housing end, we're gonna get the axle again and get it installed. So the bearing retainer is what's gonna hold the axle in place. We're gonna get the brake pads installed into it. Apply the cotter pin. So what we're gonna do is just mock up the caliper almost hand tight so that we can check this center line to the center of the rotor. It's pretty centered. I can tell from the parting line of the caliper and from the amount of space that we have on both sides of the brake pad. So I think with no shims on this application, we're gonna be set.
Bam, money. That's how we do it, baby. Teamwork.
So Christian came up with the idea with an oversized socket on one end, a little piece of metal on this end, and the C-clamp. We'll press them in that way. And look how nice that's going in. Nice and smooth.
Oh! Like that.
I pinched my finger. Pretty good.
How good?
Good enough to where I'm still hurting.
Nope, up here. Turn it. There you go. The cool thing is, okay, here, you know what? Hold on. Boom, it's in.
Okay.
Now we just have one more to do.
Someone's gonna have to take over, bro. It's goddamn.
All right, so it's the end of day one and everything's gone pretty smooth. Front suspension's in, putting it in the rear now. Mike's been here from Willwood to do the rear brakes. He'll be back tomorrow to wrap up the front. We've got some plumbing to do and then engine, trans, and a bunch more, so stay tuned.
All right, everybody, we're on our day 2 of our Hot Rod Week to Wicked presented by Duralast. Yesterday, we finished up suspension, got rid of the old stuff. Mike's up right now in the front, finishing up the brakes. Jay, what do we got to do today?
Well, I'd like to get the engine and trans installed. We still have to put an oil pan on this thing and put the engine mount conversion kit that's gonna convert this LS into the stock mounts that are on the Chevelle now. So we've got a wire harness to install, but I think if we can get the brakes and the engine trans in, measure for a drive shaft, we'll be looking pretty good for the end of the day. So why don't we get this thing off the stand, back it up to the trans, drop it in.
Let's do it.
We're gonna measure the depth of the tank, and it is 6 3/4 of an inch. So I just measured that out. About 1 5/8 inches shorter than the tank depth, right here. Marked it. Then we'll cut that real quick. And you can tell right here, return, supply. So this is our return. I like to cut it on a bit of an angle. Make me feel better. Okay, now we gotta do our pump.
You gonna go? There it is.
With our pickup sock on, everything's trimmed to length, wiring is hooked up. and the gasket's on there, we can drop it in the tank. Just make sure you feed your wires in there. You don't want anything pinched, cut. And there you go. And now we'll just put this in so we're gonna put this in a spot that feeds out of the tank. That way nothing gets caught up here as far as fuel lines go.
Look at that over there. He put on his weight, he didn't know. Oh, it evaporated. Oh, shit.
All right, we're gonna go through a tip today about when installing one of these disc brake systems on the front spindle, especially on older cars. You'll find that different spindles and aftermarket spindles, the bracket is gonna have to be shimmed in order to get the caliper to be centered over the rotor. What I wanna show everybody today is why it's important to shim between the spindle in the bracket rather than the caliper in the bracket. And the reason for that is when you start to bolt the caliper to the bracket, we don't wanna have to fumble later, say when we have to change out our brake pads, we don't wanna fumble with having to get the shims back inside between the caliper and the bracket. We want to make it so that we can disassemble the caliper, then put the caliper back on the bracket without having to do any of that. So in the long run, it's going to make it a lot easier for you to work on your car after the kit's installed. So I'm going to bolt that up. The spacer is going to go in between the bracket and the spindle. So then what I'm going to do is tighten these two bolts, just hand tight, and then we're going to mount the rotor assembly that's already been assembled onto the spindle, tighten its spindle nut, and then from there we'll get the caliper mounted and show you how you need to make sure it's centered. And then if you look, you can see that there's a little bit of space between this outer pad and a little bit of space between the inner pad. So after we've got everything mocked up, we know that our spacing's correct. We're gonna re-disassemble the brake system, pack the bearings, do all of the Loctite on the nuts and bolts, torque them to the specific torque values needed, and we'll be able to get the master cylinder on the car, get the brakes completely finished, and we'll be on to the next project.
So Christian has got the rear anti-sway bar he's gonna install from QA1. And I'll give him a hand because it might be a little tough with one person.
Those are pretty nice.
Yeah. So let's do this. Okay.
Okay, so I'm pulling out my Duralast Gold Starter, and we're going with this option because it is lightweight, it's small, especially in a different application like ours, might run into headers, so that definitely helps. It's powerful, and also one thing that I really like about it is quiet. So let's go ahead and bolt it on.
All right, so it's time to install our EFI system. We're using a multi-port intake manifold. It's got the reusable O-ring gaskets, which I like, and throttle body over there, fuel rails. So let's get that going. Fuel rails are on, injectors are in, brackets are securely fastened, and we'll put the throttle body on after we get the engine into the car. So we're gonna put the oil pan on and the engine mounts, and we should be good to go.
Right, so with our new Holley oil pan that's low profile and the new low profile oil pickup, there are some times where you have to modify the windage tray. But in our case, it's actually the wind disc tray that you don't have to modify, and that is part number 12611129 from GM, which was already in the block. So there's no need for modifications. This is important. A lot of people don't. Make sure you add your O-ring or you will have no pickup. Okay, so we are reusing our oil pan gasket. It's just a matter of drilling out some rivets on the old one, cleaning her up.
Some what?
Rivets.
What are you, a frog?
Whoa, how do you say it?
Rivet.
Rivet.
No, like this. Rivet.
Rivet. There's one more bolt.
You're what? Oh shoot, there's another one?
Did you take it off? I knew it was in there. You're trying to trick me. No wonder you were like, yeah, next time, okay.
Ready, set. Okay.
Let me get the bowl.
Let's just get the motor plate.
Dude, I felt the heat off that.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Chase the camera guy.
Use your legs.
Thank you. Gearstar's been really good to us for a lot of our projects, and so we always turn back to them. So it's gonna fit right in the car without any tunnel modifications. It'll bolt right up to our LS, and we'll be good to go. And they use yank converters in all their transmissions that they send out. So it's a good deal. They're bulletproof. You can put all kinds of horsepower through them without having any issues, and that's why we keep going back to them. We don't have a motor mount. We don't have the correct motor mounts.
You don't? Look around. Trans mount. I think those were the ones.
They look just like these.
Okay. Are those it?
Yeah.
All right. Perfect.
Keep going. All right, cool. All right, so everything's hooked up now. Let's put it in. So what we did beforehand is we filled this tank up with 20 gallons of fuel. That way we wouldn't have to do it after the fact, so.
I'm in between the right there.
You never get that out. All right, so I'm bolting on the Holley LS plates. What they do is they have the correct bolt pattern for the LS, and they allow me to use a conventional small block Chevy motor mount, which our car crossmember already has, and these should bolt right up. As long as the positioning from front to back is correct, and I won't know that till I set it in the car, we'll be good. Come in a little.
All right.
Let's see where we're at.
Let's see what's going down.
We're clear.
You want me to take the pump off for now?
Yeah, we'll take the pump off for now, and we'll have to get a remote reservoir.
Yep.
So let's pull the pump off real quick. Like I said earlier, I ordered the incorrect motor mount from Holley originally. We found an extra set back in the parts room that I thought might work. The positioning of the engine front to back is perfect. Unfortunately, the oil pan is hitting the cross member before the engine mount itself is engaging where it should be. So that kind of puts a dampener on our day and kind of puts us in a bad spot for tomorrow because now the engine or trans isn't mounted. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna call up Holley and hopefully we can get something overnighted to us in the correct part number, and I'll ask them obviously for the right application because I can't seem to do it correctly. But that's all right, we'll stay late tomorrow night, catch up, and be back where we should be by Thursday. So for that, we're out. All right, so it is day 3 of our Hot Rod Week to Wicked presented by Duralast, and Christian and I got in here real early, bent up some brake lines, he's running fuel lines now. We still have our issue with the engine not being in the car. We have someone out making a parts run, hopefully get the right Holley motor mounts that we need so we can get that engine in, get the trans in, and then we can start running those lines also. So we still have a whole day to catch up kind of from yesterday just because we fell behind. Engine and trans should have been in yesterday, they're not. So I'm gonna get back to bending some lines, finishing up that, And then hopefully by the time I'm done, someone will be here with motor mount. So let's get started. All right, so I'm just finishing up the last brake line connected to the caliper. I like to kind of flow along the rear end, kind of take the curves of the rear end. I have one more bend to do before I go into the flex hose. So I'm gonna take it off, do that last bend, make sure everything's straight so it follows that line. Put about 30 degrees in that. So now that the bends are all correct, I'm just gonna cut this where I wanna flare it. So now that it's marked, we're gonna go cut it real quick, deburr it, and then I'll do the double flare on it. So let's go get this cut up real quick. So I deburr the outside, deburr the inside. All right, so I say this every single time when I use this tool. It is the best flaring tool for a double flare that I've ever used. And I'm still not kidding about it. And they're not paying me to say that. I'm just saying that so you guys go out and buy one because you will enjoy it. So what you do, just get everything flush, tighten that down. Your first flare, it's all marked. 1, your second flare, 2. Flare is done. There's no way you could do that with any other tool and we got perfect flare. Hold that down like that and then just go open over it. This was welded on. Strange welded that on before they had it powder coated, and now you got yourself a nice straight line. Looks pretty good.
All right, right now we're plumbing the fuel system. I got the Holley regulator under the car. It's closest to the tank, that way we don't run such a long return line. We got our return, our feed, and our feed to our engine. And also we're going to add the fuel filter here, and then we'll run our line all the way up to the top to connect to the fuel rail. All right, so we're getting ready to put out the old gauges. We got some new gauges coming in. So in order for me to remove these, I have to drop the steering column down, get a couple of screws off of here, and then pull it forward, disconnect all the wiring in the back, and get them out. So I'll be doing that right now. Looks like it's seen some days, some bad days.
So Christian, while you're under there,
yes,
just planning ahead, we need one hot wire that we're gonna have to bring key on out here for the Holley computer. So just remember hooking up one long lead that we can drag out to the engine bay to turn the computer on.
Okay.
Okay?
I made it sound so easy. I just took a screw to the face. There's a lot of wires.
You know how early I'll go?
No, because we've got new gauges.
I know.
There it is, fellas. So all we're gonna need pretty much is this back piece. It's usually what we need. And then the rest is gonzo bonzo. But, I mean, to somebody else, this would be gold. To us, it's, I don't know.
Alrighty, come on in.
Here I come.
Bring her down.
All right.
So this is our hopefully final attempt of putting the engine in with the new motor mounts and cross member mounts. We know we're good front to rear, but we were having an issue with the pan hitting the cross member before the actual engine mount would hit where it needed to.
All right,
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it looks like there's 2 inches of room now.
All right, cool.
back a little bit.
I was off by an inch. Okay. All right. Let me strap her on down.
Need hardware, huh?
Huh?
Need hardware. All right, before we install the Gear Star transmission, we want to make sure that we got the play we need in between the torque converter and the flex plate. And it's a lot easier to do now than try to get it up there and realize you're jammed up against something or too far away. So it's pretty easy. Just take your straight edge here. Make sure it sits flat on the transmission and to the torque converter. There's your spacing right there, a little over an inch. Then you're gonna bring it up here, lay that up against your block, and then you can measure that, and you got about 3/16 of an inch, which is pretty typical. This is gonna come out about 3/16 of an inch to engage into your flex plate and you'll be good to go. So everything looks like it's set up. The converter is locked all the way in. And they do that straight from GearStar. When they dyno tune this, they fill it with oil, spin it up, make sure it shifts through all the gears, and they actually put a little support in here so it doesn't move during shipping. So we're good. Flex plate's good, so time to install the transmission.
Want to move over to your, yeah, there you go.
Look better?
Yes, sir.
Keep going, keep going.
Okay, I'm good.
Okay, coming out.
All right.
All right, so when it came to our cooling system on this car, we turned a US radiator. They built us a really nice cross-flow radiator, perfect for the LS conversion. They have pretty much everything in stock that will fit your application, muscle car-wise and conversion-wise. So let's get that going. Okay, top plate.
Right there.
Alrighty, okay. Then we'll just lock it down with some hardware and we'll be good to go. All right, let's try these headers out. It's nice that they went right in. A lot of times you gotta lift the engine up.
Did you give me the hard side?
I don't know, I just grabbed the first, I couldn't find that header, so I grabbed this one.
Oh man, that's gonna be tight. Might have to come in from the bottom.
Oh yeah.
How do we look?
Dude, I love it.
All right.
Stay there, just stay there.
Yeah, I got it. You can be like, what happened to Chris? Oh, Jason crushed him.
Well, we're not gonna say anything. We're not getting busted.
Austin, you make sure he gets busted.
All right, so it's time to measure for a drive shaft. First thing you want to do is make sure you put a load on the rear end to simulate ride height. There's a few dimensions you want to give your drive shaft guy, and the first one we're going to do is from the seal to the rear end, which is 53 3/8. The next one is going to be from the output shaft to the rear end, which is 52 7/8. We're going to tell them it's a 4L60 E-Trans.
Okay.
Now that we've gotten the length of it, we want to make sure we get the right yoke installed on that. So we're going to measure for that. Our first measurement, the width of the yoke is going to be 3 5/8. And then we want to give them the cup size. The cup size on this is 1 1/8. All right, so now that we have our 4 measurements, type of trans and rear end, we can give those to the drive shaft guy. He can make a proper drive shaft. Another thing you want to give him is your horsepower rating. That way he can make it out of the right material, whether it be steel, aluminum, and the diameter. So we can ship this off to him. In about a day or so, we'll have a new drive shaft to install in the car. All right, so we overcome the hurdle of me ordering the wrong parts. The engine and trans is in, it looks good, everything's centered. I just got done measuring for a drive shaft, so those numbers are out to him. We'll get that probably sometime Friday. We stayed a couple extra hours to kind of catch up. Everything's looking good. I feel comfortable about where we're at. I'm a little bit tired, and you know, Christian's a little bit tired himself too, but we're back on track. And we're gonna come in tomorrow early again and start bleeding the brakes out and kind of wrapping this car up so we're good to go on Friday. So have a good night, and we'll be back tomorrow. All right, so it's day 4 of our Hot Rod Week to Wicked presented by Duralast, and we got a few things to do today. Christian's coming in with the master cylinder, then we can bleed the brakes out, and that is a wrap. We've got the fuel injection going in with all the wiring, exhaust system, gauges. So we got an action-packed day with a bunch of fun stuff, so let's get cracking.
Police. Hands up.
Here I am. Don't use that. I don't want to look like a Got it?
Got it.
Want me to pull you out?
No.
I can pull you out by your feet.
No thanks. Ah!
I'm helping you.
No way.
How's that? Now we're getting ready to bleed the brake system out. That means getting all the air out of it. So we got 2 bleeder screws per caliper. So let's get going. Did it work?
All right.
Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead, Jay.
I'm pumping.
Pump up the ball.
Holding. They make a lot of machines that do this. I've never had much luck with them.
Go ahead, Jay.
The old-fashioned way always has been the way we've done it, and it always works. Go ahead.
All right, so we're done beating the brakes. We've completely gotten all the air out of the lines. So just make sure you got all your fittings that are tight all around. Clean up any residue. You don't want any of that getting on your parts and removing the paint. So let's move forward. What's got next, Jay?
So it's time to put the throttle body on. Like I said, this is a multi-port. That's why all the injectors. 1 injector per cylinder. This is how it gets its air. Nice little piece. All right, now that our Harley EFI is all installed, we need something to control it. So we're gonna use the Terminator X Max. It will control everything from the fuel management down to your automatic transmission, nitrous, supercharger, it'll sense boost, a drive-by-wire. So it will do pretty much everything you need, and it's very lightweight, pretty small, so you can put it in a tight area. So all that's left is to mount this, run the wires, we'll be good to go.
All good.
These are all labeled per cylinder, so it makes it pretty easy to hook up. Starting to get irritable today. It's Thursday. I ran this wire so long that we can run a temp sensor on another LS next to us. Cool. Now we've got that harness to tuck through there and we're good. Oh, you made it, huh?
Hey, Jason, nice
How
to
are
see
you doing?
Good, good.
I heard you guys were like cutting and buffing at the last minute.
Oh
huh?
yeah, it's always a last minute deal.
Sweet.
So yeah,
Oh, those are nice.
it's fresh off the mill, and then straight to polish and to your hands.
Yeah, those are gonna look good. These are the 10s for the rear?
Yeah, these are the
Perfect.
1810s for the rear. You know, nice billet 2-piece wheel.
Yeah.
Should look good on that car.
Well, I can't wait to put the tires on and put them
Oh,
on
yeah.
the car.
Oh yeah, that look good.
I appreciate it, man.
Anytime,
Thanks.
you got it. Thank you. This one's 5 4 3/4, right?
Yeah. You
Perfect.
made me nervous.
Yeah, I know. You gotta have some suspense, right?
Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah, clears the calipers, clears the hub. Yeah.
Plenty of clearance. Man, that's gonna work nice.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll fit nice in there.
Cool.
Perfect.
Nice 10-inch wheel in the front. What are our rears? Or 10s and fronts or 8s?
Yeah, 8s in the front, 10s in the rear.
Perfect.
Nice staggered setup.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Let's take these off before they fall. All right, so got all the sensors hooked up to the engine, and that's what these are for. These are our sensor wires. This is our battery lead wires, positive and ground, and this is our transmission controller section. So everything's already ran down to where it needs to be. We're gonna mount the computer inside this little pocket here. I'm gonna make a little bracket, and all you need to do to hook up the ECU for power is you got your constant battery, and then you got a key on, and you got a couple grounds, and that's it. So we'll bring our battery in here. And I'll start terminating our wires, and when we're ready to fire it up, we'll connect our battery cables and we'll be good to go. It's about time to get to business, brah. You got it? Now let's do it. All right, so we got everything we need here, from the pipes to the hangers, to the hanger brackets, to the clamps, to the hardware, to the mufflers. We got it all. And it's a 100% bolt-in kit for your A-body. So let's give it a shot. Because you know what? We don't have any work to do.
I'm waiting for you guys.
All right, try this out, John. John's got his in place, mine now is. Well, that went pretty easy. So far, so good. Okay, we'll use these pole jacks to kind of keep everything in place as we build the system. We're gonna mock everything up before we clamp anything. Okay, next step will be our mufflers. Put those all the way in. Get another pole jack. Okay. All right, now the up and over. All right, that slid in place pretty nicely. You missed that? Ow, I didn't. All right, so it is the end of day 4 and we are wrapping up. We got a lot of stuff finished. We're looking good for tomorrow. Christian's back here finishing up the wiring for the fuel management system. We got the exhaust in, bled the brakes. So with that said, we're gonna get out of here, have a drink, have a good time. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night.
Not doing that again, ever.
Well, I hope not. At least you're still functioning, kinda. All right, guys, so it is day 5, and it's the last day, and we are gonna have this car up and running. We got a little checklist here, and we're going through it quickly. So I'm thinking, you know, maybe sometime around 3 or 4 today, we'll have the car up and running, as long as everything goes right, and we will be finished with the build. Maybe take it outside and see how the tires spin. So with that being said, it is Friday. I'm having a great day. I feel good. Christian, on the other hand, I don't know, but that's okay because he's still powering through. So let me get back to work so we can finish this list off and get the car outside, and hopefully, like I said, if everything goes right, let's start.
I'm gonna make that ground wire real quick. Oh, heard the car stop.
So we got a bracket for our throttle body for the cable, and then we got our trans dipstick, both from low car, which helps us out tremendously, and with the flex line, it makes it easy, you can route it anywhere. So we're gonna put this down on the transmission, put this on the firewall somewhere, we'll be good to go.
So now we're getting ready to assemble our Dakota digital gauges, and to do that we have to disassemble our old gauges. We got to remove the back piece and use that, so we're going to do that now. Looks like it was being held on by tape.
Nothing. Done.
All right, so now we're ready to install our gauges. And it's just a matter of bolting on some screws.
Okay, ready? Okay, give it some gas. All right, let it go. Do it a couple of times.
Okay. All right, give me a sec.
What?
I'm gonna take the pedal off.
There you go. Now Christian can hook that up to the starter side. We can charge the battery that way. Starter? Yeah, the starter. Don't you know the starter?
Okay, come on!
What are you doing?
I'm trying to finish this.
Finish what? Gas is on, dude.
What'd it do?
I don't know, I didn't do anything.
Yeah, right.
I didn't know we had a weld.
Well, the way we were doing it wasn't gonna work. Before it'll leak out.
No, it won't. Why are you exaggerating so much? There we go.
I think I have everything I need here. All right, so we're about ready to throw on our American racing wheel. They're wrapped in a Mickey Thompson Street Comp tire. Listo.
Okay, so we got to come way out. We're 7 3/4.
All the way left and then all the way right.
So I just got done calibrating everything through the handheld. The Trim Air X lets you do everything through the handheld. You don't have to hook up a laptop. And that's everything from cubic inches to your RPM range when they turn off. I programmed the transmission with the tire size, what type of trans, the 4L60. So next step is to turn the key off, just to do a quick cycle with it and try to fire it up.
We're good on oil,
Good on everything.
coolant,
All
everything?
systems go.
All right.
Let it prime. Sounds about 60 PSI to me. Go ahead.
Gauges work, everything. All right, here
60.
we go, fellas.
Yeah! Woo!
Nate, can you screw on the bolts?
Should be right back where it was.
Yeah.
You're
I'm
good.
good over here. We're all good.